Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as we always do. We're going to talk about this morning. And one of the things that we're going to talk about this morning is I usually I usually like to start off. I usually like to start. She is going to listen in and see when the conversation is going. Okay, okay. Let me see here. Got you. Okay, good deal. Yeah, that okay. That's good because I would definitely appreciate it. Multitasking this morning, man. I got three or four things going on at one time, so y'all bear with me. But we're going to talk about this morning. The main topic we're going to talk about this morning is missing and exploited black and brown children. Do they treat them the same? Do they treat everybody the same? Is it the same across the board? Do they get the same attention? Do they get the same attention that everyone else gets? Missing and exploited black children, black and brown children when they're missing, and indigenous children as well. We're gonna add that into it as well. Do they get the same attention? Do they get the same uh, uh, um, attraction? Do they get the same push, if you will, when they're missing? What if they do? Hold on, I'm trying to multitask here. Y'all bear with me for a second. Trying to get everything together here so I can be on point. Good deal. So what do you think? And the number is 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Missing and exploited black children. Do they get the same attention? Good morning, James Alexander. Good morning, Tony. Good morning. Good to have you this morning. And the phone number is 508-924-3521. Is there when there is a missing black, brown, indigenous individual, do they get the same push? Do they get the same look as they do when it's a Caucasian? And please know and understand that we are not at all racist. We don't want to push any race cards, and that's not what we're trying to do. But we're trying to shine a light on it because if my child is missing, if one of my children, my children are grown and gone now, but if one of my children is missing, if one of my children is missing, Captain Leonard, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning,
Good morning, Raheem, and the Morning Glow family.
man? And we're talking about missing and exploited black and brown children, and I'm asking a question, Leonard. When one of the and we really jump normally, I don't jump into the topic this early. Usually I have another topic that we talk about before we get to the topic, but I think that we need to just go ahead on it and jump into this one this morning and just see where it goes. And we'll open up the phone lines 508-924-3521. Some people are gonna agree with us, some people are not. Some people may call in and say it's the same push, and some people may even call in and say that we're pushing the race card this morning. They may say that we pushing the race car and say, there's no difference in this, or there's no difference in that, and all the children get the same result, the same push. Leonard, I don't think that's true. But I'm not going to speak for you, Leonard. What do you say?
Well, there's definitely several issues that have to be addressed. But the first issue is that if you know of any child missing or being exploited or what have you, that hotline is 1-800-843-5678.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to understand also circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when people have certain patterns of behavior and those patterns are changed for some reason, that's a need for alarm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, what people have to understand is that if there is a pattern that's broken, how long are you waiting to report?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What constitutes to you an emergency? For some children, for some people, if they don't see their child for 2 or 3 hours,
Mm-hmm.
it's no big deal to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or they just outside somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe this or maybe that. But the point about it is you had no idea where they were.
Mm-hmm.
So while a lot of people will definitely tell you that one, you do see a bigger push on the news when it's a little white girl missing
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
than
Absolutely.
anybody else in the world.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things I wanted to, and I'm glad you did that, Leonard, because that's one of the things I wanted to make apparently clear, very clear, that if a person look at this thing realistically, and if they see that Latanya is missing, and she's been missing for X amount of time, compared to little Becky that's been missing the same amount of time, if you have these two, little Becky gonna get the most push, and they're gonna go after little Becky with everything that they got, and if they got something left over, they may go after the other young lady, and I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's fair. I don't think there's any justice in that. But that's quote unquote. That's the way America does things, man. And
Well,
it's not. Go
and it's
ahead.
not just with little; it's even with grown, even as adults.
Mm-hmm.
You see these stories when a white woman come up murdered.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then it's a whole 3-part, 4-part mini series on the news.
Mm-hmm.
They go into where she from, why she was going, and all these things, and an entire story is developed.
Mm-hmm.
Where on the other hand, how often do you see this about African Americans?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then
Exactly.
that's again why we have to insist on people understanding why critical race theory is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Because America is sick with racism.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
it's it, it I mean it's the most shameful thing about America is
Mm-hmm.
racism and the way it is still being used to for some people to make decisions. I don't need to know what color you are to make a righteous decision about what to do about anything.
Exactly.
I don't need to
Exactly.
know what color you even are.
Mm-hmm.
Because one, I'm going to do the right thing and follow protocol for each and every individual that I deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we have to get people to understand is that what is the difference? And also, what are your responsibilities? If
Mm-hmm.
my child was missing, guess who's going to be doing who's going to be looking the most? Me.
Me. Is it? Yes, sir. Yes,
I'm
sir.
not going to depend on nobody else but me first.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you have to get up there and you have to put your own signs up if your child is missing.
Mm-hmm.
Who to get in contact with. You're gonna have to knock on some doors. You're gonna have to be looking around and finding some questions and doing some research on your own.
You know what, Leonard? What I find heartbreaking is, and I Peter and all them people. I know y'all love animals and all that stuff. That's good. I love animals. I love animals too. But my thing is, if there's a dog missing, you'll see posters all over the place, man. Missing
Mhm.
dog, missing dog. Please return him. That's my puppy. I love blah blah blah. But then you don't always see the same thing when it comes to the little children, man.
And the thing about it is because this is a personal effort by the owners of the
Yeah,
dog.
yes, absolutely, absolutely.
They are the ones looking for their dog,
Mm-hmm.
not the police.
Mm-hmm.
They're the
Mm-hmm.
one going around putting up all the signs and getting help from their friends to put up their signs or to put
Mm-hmm.
signs up in their neighborhood. Even I'm pretty sure everybody knows that when a dog is missing in the neighborhood, the owner or what have you will put a little poster or something up or
Yep.
something
Yep.
like that in the neighborhood. But it's important to understand that that is what the owner does.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you parents gonna have to start doing the same thing. And
Exactly.
also, you're gonna have to understand, my like say for instance with my child, he usually has to check in every hour.
Mm-hmm.
We got this thing where one, if you've been gone for an hour, you check in. Or he used to say, "Well, why I got to come back? So I know you all right. That's why you got to come back."
Mm-hmm.
And
Let
if
me
you're
put
going,
my eyes.
and if you're gonna right, and if you tell me you go into a person's house, guess what? I come by there to see if you're there. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
why I pop up to make sure you're doing what you're saying you're doing, and how
Mm-hmm.
you teach your kids. Don't get into cars with people.
Exactly.
Don't go nowhere with nobody.
Mm-hmm.
So those things do help. And we're the age group where they first started putting the missing children on the remember on the back of milk carton.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I remember. Mm-hmm. You you you
So
you try you trying to age me, but yeah, I remember.
so we have to make sure that we're doing everything we can first of all to make sure that we know where our children are at
Mm-hmm.
initially. where
Mm-hmm.
they should be at.
Yeah.
We should know a lot more about them than, I seen him a couple hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
Or those people who report someone missing just to say, well, I ain't talked to them in a month.
Mm-hmm.
Then how you know they're missing? If you don't
Exactly.
usually if you don't usually talk to them.
I remember I heard a story, and Leonard, you might know this story, man. Somebody went over to this little somebody was in the fourth grade, and they went over to this little girl house, and on the way home, their parent called them in front of the store, and and there was an example of what it is to check in, because this person this person and Leonard, you might know who I'm talking about. I don't know if you know or not, but yeah, they were in the fourth grade. Went over to this little girl house. And we got a caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
J.R.D. Hickenbotham from Bucktussle.
Oh Lord, hold on, there, hold on. That sound like well, Mississippi right there. What's going on, Captain?
Ain't nothing to it but to do it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tucson, let me ask
What
you,
in the world?
huh?
Go ahead.
I want to
Y'all
ask you.
having one of them conversations that I don't like.
No, come on, man. You got this. We asking a question, man. Missing and exploited black and brown children when they're missing, and they're out there, and they're and nobody is seeing them. Do they get the same efforts from law enforcement and people that's actually going out there to try to find these children, missing in black and brown children, indigenous children? Do they get the same effort? Do they get the same push to find them as they would Becky?
Check, check donors. Check
Mm,
the donors. See the traffic. Uh, what is it? What is it? Kind of traffic? Human trafficking
mm-hmm.
and the market for uh, uh, organs. If it wasn't such a high, uh, how can I say this? This market for, for body parts for sick people
Mm-hmm.
that don't look like me, that secretly, that's well, somebody know it. It's not a secret to some people. It's just secret to some of us that's in the neighborhood. That
Mm-hmm.
when our unfortunately children are missing, somebody, and this I'm just assumption. This is an assumption. Somebody has a sick relative that needs a organ, and so they go and get one
Mm-hmm.
at any cost
Mm-hmm.
because it really they're willing to pay for it too.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, they can't get it from a animal,
Yes, sir.
so they get it from some that they feel like are less than an animal
Mm-hmm.
and live happily ever after.
Wow.
Ain't that sad?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, you would think that it would be some foreign country that would be so inhumane, but we listen to them on popular networks every day.
Mm-hmm.
I hope
Wow.
I'm not false accusing people, but I know that I've been in this country for a while, and America is just terrible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, they really have done some horrendous, horrible things to people that are unfortunate that we can deny it, and which America does deny it. They'll say
Mm-hmm.
that's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true. There's no, and we'll have somebody that look like me and say that America is not racist.
Mm.
Oh no, this that you here you go bringing that up again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we've been kicking that can because if you don't admit something, it'll keep going
Yes, sir.
until the point that you believe your own lie.
Mm-hmm.
But you
Mm-hmm.
look at how horrible people have been treated because they look a certain way, and because you somebody that you 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 you, you assassinated, even though they had slaves too.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, said that we're gonna free the slaves, but then when they were slaves, if you needed something, all you had to do is go to the camp, kill one of them, and get what you need
Mm-hmm.
because that was your property.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So these folks been doing this for years and years and years, and it's the type of conversation that really I don't really like, but it's reality
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because unfortunately, doctors you got to have a doctor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody
Yes.
can't perform a kidney surgery,
Mm-hmm.
so you got to have a doctor, right?
Gotta have one.
Paperwork got to be in order, so you got to have a lawyer. Judge
Mm-hmm.
got to sign it off,
Mm-hmm.
and the popo will get them. But that's
Mm.
what they was originally tasked to do.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Anybody stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we look at the trend, you'll see the same thing going on. They just legalized it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then uh, they sing the same old song at the end of the service, bringing in the sheen, and we gonna hang us a Negro after service.
Mm. After service.
After service,
Mm.
y'all come and be a witness. And
Mm.
then they say, boy, don't you turn your head.
Mm-hmm.
Look at him hang after they cut their balls out. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's as graphic as it is, that's the truth.
Yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. I mean, then if you get to the point that you do arrest them, then you just get them behind bars.
Mm-hmm.
And you wonder why people don't never find their incarcerated kinfolk.
Mm-hmm. Ex-
When when you get 99 or 100 or 200 years sentence, you think they bury them parts they need?
mm. Mm.
I'm just saying.
Exactly.
But you
Exactly.
know what I hate more than anything, and I don't mean to use that strong word hate, but it's there. I hate to see a cotton field.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me sick in my stomach. I be going the other way. I don't know if anybody ever picked cotton, but I hate a cotton field.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where I got that from, but I'm just saying this, this, this. Just like now, we have this stench, and it doesn't make no difference. And we fighting about whether it's Democrats or Republicans. It's just people in power. Them jokers are some evil, unfortunately, going to the neighborhood trying to barbecue for a vote type people
Mm-hmm.
that make me sick.
Exactly. Exactly. Why do you think? And we'll go to Lynn. I want to go to Leonard as well. But why do you think? Um, when our children are missing, why do you think when our children are missing, the same effort is not put into trying to find them?
Well, first of all, you
Because
have, like I
I don't.
said, race at play.
Mm-hmm.
That's always going to be an issue. That racism is an issue because they don't seem to believe that missing black children incur a need of urgency like white children. And if the
Mm.
police are racist where you live, then that's how they behave. Also, you have law enforcement are more likely to try to claim that a black child is a runaway as opposed to missing.
Mm,
And
mm,
then they simply just don't. Then one, you also have race issues within the media where they're not covering the cases of missing black children or black persons for that matter with the
mm,
same resources as they do a white person.
mm-hmm.
This is what racism does to a country. This is what has happened, and through all these years, and also people don't understand that sometimes people may not be able to call the police in some instances
Mm-hmm.
because of harassment or prior uh, 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 issues with law enforcement,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the fact that you have certain people who can't give enough information on the children. Like, say, for instance, you have to struggle with law enforcement to let them know my child is not a runaway. My
Mm.
child would not just run away. There's
Exactly.
nothing that would have precipitated him running away. He never talked about running away. The child is missing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have some people who are under the notion that somebody has to be missing 48 hours. A child doesn't have to be missing 48 hours. All it
Mm-hmm.
has to be is the fact that that child's legal guardian does not know where their child is at.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of different things that people can do. Also, we know that people are it's more likely to gather more important information as
Let
soon
me
as you're
say this.
covering it out in the media.
And let me say this, and see one of the things that you said, and it hit me like a brick, man. You got to be missing for 48 hours. Now you got all this traffic and stuff going on. You giving them a 48-hour head start to get your child away from there,
Like
to
I
get your.
said,
That's,
exactly.
I mean, that's crazy to me. So you're
So
gonna give
don't
them,
wait,
yeah, yeah.
but don't wait. And this is for people who, when there is a definite pattern of behavior that for some reason has not been followed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, usually people have a daily type schedule or some type.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know that this child is usually doing this at this particular time and they're not there, that's a cause for, hey, let me go find out what's going on.
Yes,
Or
yes.
how long do you wait before your child don't get off the bus?
Mm-hmm.
You don't. If your child don't get out the bus, you call immediately.
Immediately, exactly.
You know, so we have to make sure that we have a lot of checks and balances in place, especially when we know up front that law enforcement is not going to put as much into looking for certain children as they
Mm-hmm.
do for others.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
this is not something that is made up. They have a phrase I think they call what missing white woman syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
America ain't looking unless she white.
Wow.
And all
Wow.
of a sudden you have people that also have family members who are missing that you would never see on the news. Very
Mm.
When was the last time you seen a missing black man on the news?
I can't remember, brother. I
And
can't.
the FBI was looking for him if they wasn't trying to arrest him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But just missing ain't even enough sometimes to make the news if you black.
Mm-hmm.
But soon the one woman was missing. You heard about it every night.
Yeah.
Every night you heard about one woman being missing. Why? Because she was white.
Mm-hmm.
And they saw a need to talk about it every evening and to make stories about it. And everybody knows the best thing in the world to help locate missing and exploited children is media coverage.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I've even seen racism even on your blessed Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
where
Mm-hmm.
they've tried to censor individuals who are trying to help find missing children,
Mm-hmm.
especially children who are missing and under suspicion,
Yeah.
especially individuals who had, like, say, for instance, maybe science was interested.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the hospital was interested in a particular condition that a child had. Why? So they could keep the body.
Mm-hmm.
We don't often hear of those individuals, those kids whom are usually abducted and their parents are murdered.
Yeah.
Think about it. Whose parents go missing?
Mm-hmm.
and then they can't find the child. So it's good to know, if you don't know what the protocol is in your state, because states have different, reporting guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure that, one, people that would help you look for your child if your child came up missing, because it's that groundwork that
Mm-hmm.
helps the most.
And that's a powerful thing you just said there, Leonard, because a lot of time what we need to do is, truth of the matter, realistically, man, we're not gonna get the same push. The media and all that, we're not gonna get the same push. So what we need to do, I think, and I could be off base, y'all help me out if I am, get a group together. Everybody get a group of their friends together that they know if something were to happen, I need you, can I count on you? Can we come
Right.
together? Can we go out there and do what we have to do? I'm gonna do. I do the same for you if I can count on you to do the same for me. And if something happened to one of your children, I'm there.
Exactly. And that's the type of relationship you
Mm-hmm.
should have with, especially, other parents in your neighborhood, as
Mm-hmm.
well as knowing who your children's friends are
Yeah.
and who
Yeah.
they hang out with in the neighborhood. There are several foundations out there that specifically focus on missing children of color, simply because law enforcement is not.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
Exactly.
we have the Black and Missing Foundation, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Why? It's because we have to.
Mm-hmm.
These
Yep.
things wouldn't be necessary if there wasn't such a disparity
Mm-hmm.
in the
Exactly.
treatment of missing children. The
Mm-hmm.
majority of children, excuse me, who come up missing are African American children.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost greater than 20% difference in missing white children. So let's say, for instance, if you have 100 children missing,
Mm-hmm.
it's not unlikely for the majority of those children, at least a third of them, to be black.
Mm-hmm.
However, why don't you hear about it on the news?
Mm-hmm.
That's disparity in treatment. That's racism.
Mm-hmm. Watch this. Watch this. I'm gonna go to Tucson, boy. And the phone lines are open. If you want to be a part of this conversation, you're more than welcome to call in. I can't talk this morning. The number is 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. We're talking about, is there a difference in how missing and exploited black children are treated in regards to other communities? But let me do this real quick. I'm gonna do this breaking news. Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. There's a missing child in this area. She's been missing for about 2 minutes. She's 5'4". She's 5'4", 102 pounds. She has long blonde hair, blue eyes, and she goes by the name of Becky Olivier. Becky Olivier, she's last seen 2 minutes and 30 seconds ago now. Her parents went to the store and they went back to the car, and she was not in the car. And they say that she's been missing for exactly 2 minutes. So we need the whole community to come together and let's go find Becky. She's missing. Our beautiful child needs to come back home. Thank you. Thank you. Now, oh, hold on. Just across the desk. Oh, there's another missing child. Oh, she's 5'3". She's 5'3". Kinky hair. What her name? Tonda? Yeah, her name is Tonda. If y'all see her, just call her parents. Call the station for the number. Now, let me go to Tucson. Tucson. What is the difference in what just happened?
The alert. Mm.
Now you
And
gave.
if you leave that out there, Raheem, if somebody hears that emergency broadcast
Mhm.
announcement, or
Yes.
however you want to say it, there'll be an all points alert
Mm-hmm.
looking for the first Becky.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Now they won't even hear the second one,
No.
unfortunately.
Mm-mm.
But The sad part about it, nah, I ain't gonna go there. But anyway,
But is that reality of how a lot of the media
that's
cover it?
reality. That's reality. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it is reality. It's reality.
Good
They'll go
morning,
to the
Lynn.
child's house, their
Mm-hmm.
house, and they'll get the parents on, and parents start crying. Parents might have been the one that abducted
Mm-hmm.
them.
Mm.
See that another. That's another thing about some people. If they don't like their kids, they'll call them missing. And they'll get on TV and cry. They cry, and 20 years later or more, they'll find out. Oh, the parents did
Mm-hmm.
it.
And that
But
and to your point, Tucson, that goes back to Miss Susan Smith in South Carolina when she
hmm,
I know y'all probably remember the story quite a few years ago. She said a black man abducted her children.
that's what I was just going to say.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
That's just what I was going to say. Because somebody will be incarcerated for something that they did,
Mm-hmm.
and the incarcerated person will look like me.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can deny that if you want,
Yeah.
and they say, well, today they um, promoting racism. No, no, ma'am, no, sir, no ham, no grits and gravy. Reality.
Ham, grits, and gravy.
Like I
Okay.
said, racism is. I'm sorry, I messed up my little whatever. Now. Can you hear me,
Mm.
Raheem?
Yes, I heard you. Uh-huh.
Okay, racism is not the reporting of racism. That's
Mm-hmm.
not racism. Reporting racist acts is not racism.
Mm-hmm.
Reporting the truth of the matter is not racism. Racism is the fact that certain things are happening. And if you look at those things, you will see that there is a clear disparity based on race.
Mm-hmm.
And it's intentional.
Mm-hmm.
It's the result of racism that causes these issues. It is the result of what white people have done that cause these issues. So it's not that we're being racist at all. We're
Mm-hmm.
talking about what we have to do because of racism.
Come on.
As a
Absolutely.
result of racism, we have to have a separate Black and Missing Foundation nonprofit organization that
Mm-hmm.
specifically focuses on Black and missing.
Mm-hmm.
That's an actual 501c3. I had mentioned them earlier. If you're
Yes.
interested, or you have information, or you have a child that you think that you may know that is missing, or what have you, you can go 877-97-BAMFI, which stands for Black and Missing Foundation Incorporated.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Absolutely.
they got a web presence, and you can go there as well to look for that if you do not believe what we're saying. But
Mm-hmm.
you can also go and search Black and Missing. Several stories and data from the FBI and everything will pop up for you to look at.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't being racist. This is the result of racism.
And see the sad part, the sad reality of that, man, is that in this day and time, 2021, soon to be 2022 is right around the corner. That we have to have a separate organization to go out there and look for our children, because the organization that's supposed to do it and the people that's supposed to do it are not giving them the attention that they should have. They're not giving them the full attention that they should have, and so it's real. It's heartbreaking, man. It's
And
heartbreaking. Go
before
ahead.
something happens to you and you get disappointed, at least take the time out to find out what is the protocol in your area for
Mm-hmm.
reporting missing children and individuals. We
Mm-hmm.
have things here in Georgia. I think we have Maddie's Call, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
That's for missing elderly people.
Yeah.
They'll put out a Maddie's Call.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we know Amber Alert is for children
Yes.
and things of that nature. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to make sure that we're keeping up with one another. Of course, there is definitely an issue and a concern with organs and things like that. But a lot of these things are occurring simply because of murder,
Mm-hmm.
abduction,
Mm-hmm.
lifestyles that we would consider less than desirable.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to be very cautious of that, especially where criminal activity is going on. Where do you think a lot of the sex trafficking victims are coming from?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are coming from your neighborhoods. You know, if you see a little girl, like a little girl comes up missing,
Mm-hmm.
someone probably picked her up and abducted her.
Yeah.
You know, so
Now,
we have to be
what is
careful
it
of those
called?
types of things.
What is it called, man? When people take the organs, there's a specific name they have for that, and it escapes me right now. Where they take somebody, abduct them, and steal their organs. Much like I think it happened here in Georgia a few years ago with that Matt situation. I think there was a situation where they wanted to steal his organs, the young man's organs.
Well, we know that that wasn't the motive for
Mm-hmm.
that, but
Mm-hmm.
his organs were missing
Yes.
after another autopsy was done.
Mm-hmm. Body
So
stuffed with
someone
beautiful.
tried to actually cover that up.
Yep. Yep.
That not only was we're talking about Brother Kendrick Johnson, of course, there is
Yeah.
a documentary and what have you currently now on television as well regarding Kendrick Johnson's case.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas it's not so much as he was missing from the fact that when his mother went to look for him because he did not come home from school that day,
Mm-hmm.
and that was very unusual for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she went to the school, and while they were still not trying to tell her what was going on, she found out when she went up to the school because her child hadn't returned home from school during school hours that she found out her child was murdered.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we have to understand, the ramifications of a lot of these things and what is going on and why these children are coming up missing. I like what Donald had brought up. You got some parents don't even report it.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
Okay? Some
Mm-hmm.
parents that don't report. Some parents who may already have, like I remember I was mentioning, sometimes they may have issues with law enforcement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's foul play involved as well.
Absolutely.
So, you have to be aware on every front when it comes to a child, especially if there's a child that comes up missing or what have you. Most people can't afford private investigators and all
Mm-hmm.
this type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Exactly.
so we have to assist law enforcement with
Mm-hmm.
finding these children when they come up missing, especially uh, adolescents, because now, of course, they want to assume that the majority of children just run away, and I guess
Mm-hmm.
white folks just get abducted.
Exactly.
So,
It's amazing. It's amazing how the verbiage is so different. Let me give the phone number. We got quite a few people that's actually tuning in. We love to have your input. Give us a call. We're talking about is black and brown children treated the same when they're missing and or exploited. The number is 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. One more time for that person that did not have a pen. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We definitely love to hear from you. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, man, a lot on my heart,
Mm-hmm.
and and see, people are funny.
Mm-hmm.
I, just how we look at, and we going through the same thing
Mm-hmm.
that we were going through 100 years ago,
Yes, sir.
and I would say 60, 50
Mm-hmm.
years, but no. See, we were seemingly coming out of something then.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a child, a little fella, um, segregation. They had just, they killed. Let's see who they had to kill: Kennedy,
Mm-hmm.
Martin Luther, and Malcolm X. Was there any other among them that they had to get out the way?
Mm-hmm. Would you put Medgar in there in that
Yeah,
equation?
Medgar Evers
Like,
was killed in his
Mhm.
house. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
yeah. See, because when you, and it didn't make no difference. And see, this is the kicker. And this, I might be wrong. I'm not a historian, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't do all that kind of stuff. But see, when it really comes down to it, when you are kicking against what they love, they don't care what color you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just have to be among the ones that don't sit at the table.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and you can be president. That's why Kennedy had to go. And when you talk about uh, Martin Luther and Malcolm X, uh, unfortunately, and this I'm not a historian and I don't really know, but I believe that sometimes what what happens is they get one of those that look like me to have a hand in it, and we set each other up. I know that's going way off of what we're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
but it's right there. It's right there
Mm-hmm.
because if you talk about missing children, one of the issues is that we don't have a tight knit community like we used to. Everybody busy. Everybody trying to make that dollar,
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
and the
Exactly.
dollar will go as far as these parents will sell off their own children
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that they want to get. They sick of them anyway. That's ain't that sad?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it
You're
is.
sick of your own child
Mm-hmm. But
because
let
you
me
got to take care of them.
absolutely. But let me ask you,
I'm just saying.
and the system that we have in place right now, the system that we have in place right now, the law, say law enforcement, do they and I think Leonard, it really boils down to a value system or the lack of value. They put no value on us, man. When our children are missing, like you said earlier, they first they assume well they just ran away. They're not missing like that. They ran away from home. You need to take better control of your children so they don't run away from home and they don't do these things. But when it's Becky, oh man, hold on. Where is she? What do we need to do? Let's get a rally together and come together, and we all go out there and look for her. Let's make sure we find and bring this beautiful little girl home. Value system. Do they value us?
Well, I'm not really looking for value in this particular situation. I know it may be an issue, but that issue is personal.
Mm-hmm.
Why? What is the protocol, and why is that protocol not followed for everyone?
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue. So that's what we need to focus on: is what is in place when this occurs.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else before that is their parents' responsibility. But from the moment you contact law enforcement about your
Mm-hmm.
child being missing, that is the issue. What happens then? That's what you want to go and you want to find out. What happens when you contact law enforcement about a missing child? Call before your child is missing. Call and just go online and find out if you can. Like I said, there's plenty of information. And usually every police department will have directions online on what happens when someone is reported missing. Or they can tell you what is their protocol in your local area for that. But no one stops you from bringing awareness to the situation. I like to
Mm-hmm.
shout out to a good friend of mine online, to Wanda Graves, who
Yes.
dedicates a lot of her time and effort to
Great. Great.
missing young black children, women,
Mm-hmm.
and girls especially. And she does this constantly to the point that where Facebook has tried to censor her as
Mm-hmm.
well because she sometimes put out unpleasant information
Yes. Absolutely.
when there are leads and things of this nature or new information
Mm-hmm.
or people who feel as if, let me how you said, if they're involved they don't want it known,
Mm-hmm.
or law enforcement not wanting to be known that they're not following protocol with every missing report.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing different things when the person is not black
Mm-hmm.
than when the person is white. They're making certain assumptions as opposed to the assumptions that they make when the individual is not black.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to understand that that is the issue, is why are they not being treated differently by law enforcement? Second, what's the deal with the media?
Mm-hmm. Come on.
Why isn't the media jumping on those cases of missing black individuals like they do with white individuals?
Mm-hmm.
See, there's an issue there with it as well. All of this is critical race theory.
Mm-hmm.
That's what all of this is. It's why is racism playing such a huge part in every environment, in every space in America? Why is there always a disparity in the treatment
Mm-hmm.
when the victim is African American? If an African American woman went missing on a vacation, how likely are you to see that as a story on the news?
Not very likely.
But you see the stories of missing white girls all day.
As a matter of fact, the young lady, and it's very unfortunate, man. My heart goes out to her. Well, her fiance killed her,
And
choked
they
her to death.
still looking for him, aren't they? Aren't they
Yeah,
still looking for him?
they're still looking for him. And but last few weeks, that's all for at least a good week straight. That's all you heard
Yes.
about on the news, man. That's all you heard about on the news. Let's find her. She's missing.
And
She's
that
missing.
is what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Exactly.
what is the difference other than race?
Mm-hmm.
And they can't explain that. So obviously, it's race.
Mm-hmm.
There's no need to guess about it anymore or what have you. The documentation is already out. The FBI has investigated this issue and things of that nature as well when it comes to their reports of the missing, who's missing.
Mm-hmm.
They know who missing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the last report I seen, what's up to date information, almost 100,000 individuals, black and brown individuals, go missing every year.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
how often do you hear about it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How often do you hear about it?
Probably not at all. Let me we got another call from the 4423 area code. 423 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Donna Green, calling from Atlanta.
Hey, Miss Donna Green, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Man, we get I'm doing great and thank you for calling in. Definitely appreciate you. Leonard Donald, we got an expert on this subject right here on Miss Donna Green. We're talking about missing and exploited black children. Why don't they get the same attention in the media and in the press, by the police officers, by everybody pretty much, that everybody else get, that quote unquote Becky, and we're not making this a racial thing, but we're just stating facts that Becky don't get. Why do you think that is, Miss Donna?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you so much for doing this. It's definitely needed. I myself have a missing children show,
Mm-hmm.
and it's definitely needed. We definitely need to bring attention to this, and to this subject. So thank you for that. We can't. It's really no one answer to that. Um, we see a lot of scenarios out here about why, as you say, Becky getting it and not this person getting it or that person. It's really no one answer to that, and some of it is prejudice. Some
Mm-hmm.
of it it's just been that way. When my son got missing, I got I got no coverage at all, and that was back in the '70s. I got
Mm-hmm.
no coverage, and I still see a lot of that right now, where this person got the coverage and that person didn't get the coverage.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're out here doing what we do, and we're becoming our own platform, and we're doing it ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to push this because, like I said, it's up to the individual and it's up to the media, and our black and brown aren't isn't high on the priority list as our others are. So
Mm-hmm.
that's something that we just have to continue to push, continue to open up our own platforms, because it could be a whole lot of reasons that we'll never know, but we kind of can bring it all to one. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we like you got the cases out here now, like the girls that went missing, which brought a whole lot of attention because there's a lot of it's more of our black girls been going missing than anywhere. And
Mm-hmm.
just a few weeks ago, when we was out doing a rally, two girls went missing over in the McDaniel Glen area. Nobody heard about.
Mm.
Nobody heard about it. It was brought to my attention while I was out there doing a rally for my son. It was
Wow.
brought to my attention that two girls that went missing. This was just a few weeks ago. Wasn't nobody heard about it?
Mm-hmm.
You know. So when you call the media, because we've called the media before and asked them to push this person or push that person, it wasn't of interest, and for some reason they didn't do it or wouldn't do it. So I can't really say because then there are news, there are different ones out there that will push. But I think for us, we have to set up the platforms like what you got, like what I got,
Mm-hmm.
like what other ones got that can make sure that I was getting out there.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
We have
Exactly.
to set up those platforms, because if we don't, our children are just as important. Black lives do matter. All
Mm-hmm.
lives matter. But
Mm-hmm.
so black lives do matter. And we got to get out there and do it ourselves. Because, they give you so many reasons why the statistics this, the statistics that, it shows this, it shows that. But that's not always the case.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And like it was stated earlier, and we're going to go to Rico as well, but like it was stated earlier, a lot of times when it's our children, they're quick to say that no, they just ran away from home. They're not missing.
And
They ran away from home, and they try to hide behind that. That's not always the case. Go ahead, Miss
that's not
Donna.
always the case. That I've seen several cases, because I'm a part of I do work for National Mission Children as well, and I've seen several times where they said that it was runaway when it actually wasn't runaway. How you gonna tell me? I know my child. I know my child come home every day at this time.
Mm-hmm.
My
Mm-hmm.
child does not have a history of running away.
Mm-hmm.
I know my child. They did not run away. And then you telling me my child ran away, and then there have been instances where children came up deceased because there wasn't a lot there, because they just put them in the category of running away.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, some do run away,
Mm-hmm.
but you got to have the details. They classify them as running away without the details.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Without any formal investigation. Rico, good morning. How you doing this morning?
No, I can't complain. Grand rising to everybody.
Hey, good to have you, brother. We're talking about black and missing and exploited children. Why don't they get the same attention as Becky would?
Well, it's an obvious fact that some people don't want to admit, but sometimes it's right there in your face. See, what's
Mm-hmm.
good for the goose is good for the gander. And if they
Mm-hmm.
know how to give you a week or 2 weeks worth of coverage of Casey and Kaylee Anthony, they could give you the same 2 or 3 months of coverage for some other black child.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember, I'm so glad that and happy that people are bringing attention to this, because I realized that way before the Casey Anthony case. I was like, well, you know what? Nancy Grace been giving this little girl a lot of attention. And she was, oh, this is so dear and close to my heart because I have two young babies.
Yeah, yeah.
But then I'm like, well, you know, is it near and dear to your heart when there's two young black babies? Because there was a little boy went missing down in Florida. I never heard the results of that. And that was
Mm-hmm.
during that time.
Mm-hmm.
And when a few people bought it up, so what she started doing, she started addressing other missing children after she had given that about 2 or 3 months of coverage. But you still wouldn't get but about 2 or 3 days of the coverage. And that may
Mm-hmm.
have been 10, 20 minutes of a segment with black children. But see, for some reason we don't dictate our own narrative. And we in competition, like Donna just said. You got a platform. She has a platform to discuss these things. But CNN and Fox has 1,000 times more access to put out 1,000 times more information. So that means
Mm-hmm.
we got to be 1,000 times more consistent and adamant what we trying to do. Because
Exactly.
what they're doing, when you really look at the truth of it, this is basic human behavior. People are going to put interest in and pay attention to things that's most important to them and that concerns them the most.
Mm-hmm.
So that lets you know where we stand on the totem pole.
Exactly.
The pill is hard for us to swallow
Mm-hmm.
because we still want to live a piece of this American dream. But we can't live the American dream the way we want to because we refuse to accept the fact that we are sitting in a country where people have us at the bottom of the totem pole and we are the least of their concerns. Oh, your child missing? How you know he ain't running away? He been out here smoking weed? You know,
Mm-hmm.
when they kill black kids. Well, Trayvon Martin had weed in his system. So, so
Mm-hmm.
you know, when you see what's going on, whenever we are the victims, we ask for it.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever we are potentially the victims, well, you know, we're a little rebellious and we don't know how to mind. We don't like to conform. So, you know, we might have ran away. And then
Mm-hmm.
even when you do know they didn't run away, they're missing. Guess what the news gonna say? Poor black baby. But
Mm-hmm.
Nancy Grace don't relate to that. She only relates to Kaylee Anthony. So you know that what it boils down to is we have to look at the obvious. This is basic human nature. And sometimes we want to say, well, it might not be racism. It is always subliminal, unconscious
Mm-hmm.
racism. It might not be intentional, but deep down inside, they don't identify with us. So that's
Yeah.
why they don't relate. And that's why it's not as important to them because they do not identify with us.
Mm-hmm. And that's all facts right there. Let me get a number. We got quite a few people that's actually listening, that's asking for the number. The number is 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. If you got a second, give us a call. We love to hear from you. And we're asking the question why black and exploited children are not given the same attention in the media by the police officers, by a lot of people, by certain communities. Why are we not given the same? Is it a value system? Leonard, what do you say to that, brother? What's on your heart?
Well, like I said, we need to move beyond the why. We know why. We need to
Mm-hmm.
be opening up, like the sister said on here earlier. We need a lot more platforms talking about it. We need to use
Mm-hmm.
our own media. Like I said, social media has done a great job at allowing everyone to get out on different platforms to do certain things. So
Mm-hmm.
we need to come up with more things of that nature. And also, what do we do to stop our children from becoming missing or abducted? We have to realize that some of these children that come up and missing are just a couple sniffs from a canine dog to find their remains. They
Mm-hmm.
could have been the victim of a serial killer in the neighborhood, which is often the case with a lot of different young people. Is before you know it, you're looking and you don't find the remains. Or
Mm-hmm.
if there's a serial killer involved, some areas want to keep that on the hush, on the low, instead of warning the public, especially if the victims are just black victims.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that's not even reported. So we have to make sure that if we know things, that we get that information out and warn them in our communities. We got banners we can put up and things of that nature. Churches have all this digital media and all these things going on as well. Everybody can get on some type of platform to help
Mm-hmm.
the situation. And also personally, man, know where your kids at. Keep up with your kids. You can do a better job at keeping up with your kids. Your child may now you can be in a great, nice neighborhood and everything, and guess what? Old van pull up in front of your house.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
You
sir.
know, so we have to be very careful of that. It's not common. Children shouldn't be. What you mean? Your child didn't come home last night, and that was no need for alarm.
And
The
you waited
first
all
night.
night. And you
The
waited
first
all night.
night.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
exactly. Well, they
Mm-hmm.
usually be gone for a couple of nights. What kind of parenting is
Mm-hmm.
that? Where you don't know where your child is for a couple nights a week.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly.
So we have to look at what are we doing that contribute to it as well. We also, of course, we know those things that lure black children into danger. We
Mm-hmm.
have to be cognizant of that as well. But like I said before, nothing beats making sure law enforcement is following the same protocol in your
Mm-hmm.
local area for locating and finding missing children that are reported missing.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
nothing should like be different. Like the young lady said before, they tried to say he's a runaway.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not my child. My child has no reason to run away. This will not be their pattern. They ain't ran away before. They ain't had no reason to run away. So they're
Mm-hmm.
not a runaway.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
have to be insistent upon that because the moment you say, well, maybe they did, okay, now it's a runaway
Mm-hmm.
because you
Yeah.
don't know enough about your child to
Mm-hmm.
know that. So you don't innocently say it to law enforcement. Well, I don't know. Maybe they might. No, not if that's not your child's pattern of behavior.
And that's giving them the excuse to put it they put it in file 3.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. You need to state it exactly how it is. Like with parents, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
When crazy grabbed the kids,
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
makes the Amber Alert so effective. If crazy
Mm-hmm.
grabbed the kids, they need to go out on the Amber Alert.
Mm-hmm.
Not after you wait to where they going and all that type of stuff. If there was if someone actually took your children from you, it should be urgent right then.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Miss Green, what's on your heart? Talk to me.
I agree with what the brother was saying, and a lot of times we have to, our community, we got to take a stand. A lot of times the parents don't say that their kids are missing because they're intimidated by the police department. They don't trust the police department. It's a lot of reasons why, and a lot of times the kids that do run away, what are they running from? They're running from something. But we have to take our power back. We feel like we're powerless. We're not powerless. It's a lot of platforms out here for us. But
Mm-hmm.
then I have a platform and I'm dealing with total missing children, but I can't seem to get anybody on board with what I'm doing because see, a lot of times if it's not in your backyard or it's not knocking on your door, you have no
Mm-hmm.
interest for it. That's
Exactly.
the wrong thing. And then a lot of us are talking about it's all about I, me, and mine. As long as mine are safe, as
Mm-hmm.
long as we're safe, that's all I'm concerned about. But guess what? If all you got is your power, is what you got to keep yours safe, yours not safe. Because every day that your child walks out that door,
Mm-hmm.
somebody, some pedophile, some crazy person looking at your child, and only thing they waiting on is the opportunity. We need to be a community of not on my watch. When
Mm-hmm.
I'm at Walmart, when I'm out there, and then we need men. We
Mm-hmm.
need men to be aware of that too. When you out there in Walmart parking lot putting your children in or your grandchildren in or whatever, or got your children, look around
Yeah.
because that mother out there that got that trying to put her child in the car, trying to put her groceries in the truck car. When she's putting her groceries in, that child is vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
When she's putting her groceries in, you got people out there at the Walmart. I just was talking to somebody not too long ago, and they happened to be standing at the Walmart in another state, and they said that they heard a guy say, "We just need to get one more person. We
Mm.
need to get one more person." They just standing out there. They went and called the police, and the police, got the guys or whatever. But what I'm saying is, but men, we need y'all.
Yeah.
We're vulnerable out there. I was
Mm-hmm.
out there in the thrift store, And the guy was watching me. I had I had a set of twin boys with me, 5 years old. I went on one side, he went on one side. I went on the other side, he went on the other side. When I walked down to Walmart, I knew he was up to something. Didn't know, I'm not Walmart Cisco. I knew he was up to something. I walked out of the store with these two children. Why? Because I'm a little slow in walking now because of a knee situation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm walking down and he's following me down. But see, what he didn't realize was I had my granddaughter in the car,
Mm-hmm.
and she got out of the car. She's military. When she got out of the car, he just went on. Okay, but what was on his mind? You understand what I'm saying? We
Mm-hmm.
become vulnerable. We need y'all to think wherever y'all at, in the grocery store, in wherever you are, look around and just think to yourself, not on my watch. As long as
Yeah.
I'm right here
Yeah.
in this aisle, as long as I'm in this parking lot, it's not one child gonna go missing because it's gonna take a collaborative of all of us in the community to keep our children safe. But with our community, I can't even get people to come out or support what I'm doing about the missing children because it's not their agenda, it's not what they do because their child not missing. But I've
Mm-hmm.
had certain ones that child did go missing or niece did go missing. Now they all into what I'm doing because they in that situation. Don't
Mm-hmm.
wait till you get in
Mm-hmm.
that situation. Get on these platforms,
Yeah.
support our organizations and stuff like that. Support it. We need your support and we need you all men to stand up wherever you are and say, not on my watch. We can't say
Exactly.
why these things happen, but we can, as a collaborative, come together and become stronger
Mm-hmm.
and make sure our children don't go missing.
Exactly. Rico, talk to me.
That's the question: how can we keep our children safe?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Rico, talk to me, brother.
Yeah, I agree with what she said. When you really look at it, man, I was gonna go there, and I'm glad she went there. It's an indictment on the black community. See, we could talk about what the mainstream media and how they reported and all that, but when you walk around in the black community and interact with black people all the time, what is the major topic of conversation? What is the black community's major interest right now? When you walk around and you talk about what needs to happen in the black community, only thing you hear about is financial literacy,
Yeah. Yeah.
black economical empowerment, mind the business that pays you. See, when you minding the business that pay you, or you telling people to mind their business, then it's hard for them to sit back and look at what you got going on when you slipping or making a mistake. I done told so many stories of when I done saved children from drowning. You know what I'm saying? I had a situation where I helped a woman the other day load up her car and hook it up to a trailer and then roll with her to teach her how to drive a U-Haul before she went on this long trip. Because I'm a community lover. I love
Mm-hmm.
my people.
Yes,
And if
sir.
I see fit, it's fit to where I could be an asset to somebody that's in need. I'm gonna do that even if they don't ask. And
Mm-hmm.
especially when it comes to children, I'm definitely gonna do it because a child cannot defend themselves against an adult or a minor that's a few years older than them. A 3-year-old can't defend themselves against an 8-year-old. So if I see an 8-year-old in under the guidance of over being responsible for a 3-year-old, I'm gonna pay attention to make sure that 8-year-old ain't doing nothing suspect. To make sure he
Mm-hmm.
ain't trying to get that little child off and do a little funneling or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Anything suspicious, why you trying to get that child off by yourself?
Yeah.
And if I see an 8-year-old watching a 3-year-old, I'm still gonna watch the adults that also realize that 8-year-old watching a 3-year-old because we have opportunistic, dirty, nasty human beings.
Yes. Yeah.
Everybody's opportunistic to a certain extent, but some people
Mm-hmm.
want to take the opportunity to help people. Some want to take the opportunity just to dive in and indulge in whatever their desires call for them to want to do. So when you look at what's going on, you look at our platforms. Our platforms about relationships,
Mm-hmm.
black love, how valued black men, WAP. That's what
Mm-hmm.
we talking about in our community. And
Mm-hmm.
so Miss Green can't get a platform because we so busy out here chasing that American dream and we so busy looking at this mainstream media. See, I think I done said it plenty of times. We are more dependent on this country than we realize. We are so dependent to the point to where we don't even know how to stand up for ourselves, fend for
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. We don't know how to we won't know how to survive on our own because we are too dependent on other people having compassion.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to have that same type of interest. We got to know how if that woman's child came up missing, my child might come up missing. What the young man that came up missing in September, and they found him, and they had these discrepancies about his autopsy. They was talking about his organs was missing. Well, I think the mother came back and said it was a lie. But even that, even as sensational as it got, it still didn't make the mainstream media the way it should have. But it didn't have to, because we have enough going on in our community just within the hip hop culture. We made our culture take off and go around the world and become the most powerful thing. Hip hop is almost as powerful as religion now. And we made that happen without mainstream help. Mainstream had to jump in and dig their fingers into it and find a way to get on this train that was moving, because they saw how much power it had when we didn't. Now here it is. When they gonna worry about our women and babies? When they gonna worry about black missing people? They ain't got to worry. We've been knowing they ain't had no concern for us. We got to be 1,000% consistent. We got to do this. I like the cuss. We got to do this thing 1,000 times harder. Our topic of conversation and our interest, our most important interest, has to be interest of concern for society. If our most important interest is self-prosperity, then you know how much can you depend on them to be concerned about your poor black child being abducted in human traffic?
Exactly.
They probably want the child. They probably going to buy the baby anyway. I ain't gonna say buy the baby, but to patronize the services of the human traffickers. They might be on back page themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Brother Pete, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, sir. DKM Radio, listening audience panel. How we doing today?
Hey, doing good. Are you talking directly on your phone, brother? It's just a little bit low.
How about now?
Man, yeah, my man. We're talking about black missing and exploited children or people as a whole. Why don't we get the same attention in the media, police department, and across the board that Becky will get if she becomes missing? What do you think that is, Pete?
Well, one of my good comrades, Wanda Graves, her area, she has several platforms: Facebook, Bring Back Our Children; Instagram, Bring Back Our Children; TikTok, TBT. Listen, our children don't meet the criteria too often times, and when you engage the criteria, it almost is like it's not a standard criteria to justify why they don't get the attention. They're quick to say they ran away. They're quick to say, well, nobody saw them get kidnapped or snatched or anything. So how do we know? They often wait 24, 48, 72 hours before they seek to put something out. We just had a young child, the mother allegedly killed her grandmother, something to that effect, and left with the child out of Carolina and came to Georgia. Father was in the military, is in the military, and because of him being in the military and not being here, it made it meet the criteria, and they were able to apprehend the young lady and recover the child. And we're not sure to the degree that the child may or may not have been in danger. They did issue an Amber Alert. And of course, Ms. Graves heard about it, talked to the family, jumped right on it. But that's not the norm. It's not the norm. So you see that also the media, like our outlets, we don't cover it, right? They seem to only want to cover it when it's, either convenient or beneficial. And the black leaders, they seem to have the same energy, if we would make it where this is a priority amongst us, like Rico was just saying, right? Then we might be able to get more attention, be more attentive, looking around, observing, and be able to recover more of these children. And we have to remember the police don't have any constitutional rights to protect and serve, right? So why would they go after your child? This is really a in-house self-policing type issue that we have to be concerned about. I mean, how do we have 60 8,000 missing women and young girls, and it's not, that's a whole state worth of folks, that
Yeah.
county worth of folks that
Mm-hmm.
missing. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, what's really going on? And then when you're telling us that they don't meet the criteria, listen, if a person come up missing and we concerned about human life and welfare, I would think that that would set off an immediate alarm for us to find
Exactly.
out where is this person.
And what criteria are you talking
But
about? The child is the person that's missing. Isn't that the
uh,
criteria? If they're missing?
I would think
Mm-hmm.
if we consider the person, the being, to be of value to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing seems to reach very, very far into the fiber and the mindset of this society and not valuing others the same as ones. And that's a problem. So that brings it right back to us.
Mm-hmm.
We have to do the busy work, the informing, the being aware. And we got to get that in house and get it out from in house to our constituents because the
Mm-hmm.
greater society does not seem to really care. What did Michael Jackson say? All I'm trying to tell you is that
They don't really care about
they
us.
don't really care about us. Yes, sir.
Exactly. 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 Toya with a T, good morning. How you doing this morning?
I'm good. How you doing?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Good to have you, sister. We're talking about black missing and exploited children. Why don't we get the
Yeah.
same? Why don't our children get the same attention than Becky get if she becomes missing? What do you think it is, Toya?
Ain't that how they built America? Ain't that how they built
Mm-hmm.
America?
Yes, sir.
By exploiting us?
Mm-hmm.
When they decided to become police officers, didn't they come for us with the intent to drag us out of our houses and kill us?
Mm-hmm.
Was the reason why they wanted to wait 24 to 48 hours. The theory is if you don't find them within that time frame, they could be dead. I think that was the theory
Mm-hmm.
that they teach them. So why does it take 26 to 48 hours? Maybe because they knew that they was the ones kidnapping us 60 years ago, dragging us out the houses, and maybe 20 to 40, 48 hours to make sure could nobody find us within the next week.
Mm-hmm.
See, we
Mm-hmm.
got to stop acting like we just woke up today. We got to stop acting like the system just got here. This is still the same old system that originally created this place through exploiting and having us listen. It
Mm-hmm.
ain't nothing changed.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been underreported, undercounted, under acknowledged, and lied about. Everybody in the whole state know that Willie John killed them boys. The
Mm-hmm.
sheriff, the mayor, the governor, all knew that Willie John killed them boys. But that's not what they tell the media. So we got to stop. We got to stop acting like
Mm-hmm.
this is some kind of America that did not do the atrocious and commit the atrocious act from since the 1600s. And then we got to stop acting like they stopped.
Mm-hmm.
We got to stop acting why. It's too many years later. We gone through too much now that we still acting. Well, why don't they do this for us? They never have.
Exactly. Why are they gonna start now?
Right. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what we
Mm-hmm.
need to understand and realize. We must, since a long time ago. What they beat us into submission
Mm-hmm.
because we just overlook all of the terrible things they've done with us with medicine, physically, and even included to physically get ahead in creating these United States.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I was a little girl, when I thought that this was how it was supposed to go, there was a point where I didn't think there wasn't a racism either living in Brooklyn because white people didn't chase us down the street. You know what I'm saying? So there was a point in time where I thought this was the America that they perceive it to be. Land of the free, home of the brave. You can have your dream here when it's only been a daggone nightmare for black people for a
Mm-hmm.
long time. Long time. It's
Mm-hmm.
been a nightmare. And the
Exactly.
only way that we can get out of the nightmare is to act like them.
Mm-hmm.
Talk like them, walk like them, work like them, have a good attitude like them. But you better not dare be yourself. I better not dare be my Brooklyn hood alley back self. No, no. You ain't gonna get nowhere. So, again, it's no shock to me. Uh, Let me just throw this out there. My godmom is on life support now, and she
Mm,
was vaccinated. Let me just throw that
mm,
out there.
mm.
Let me just throw that out there.
Sorry to hear that. Mm,
Vaccinated from a vaccine that she said God told her to get.
mm. Wow.
Now
Wow.
she on life support. The first thing went through my head? Why do we keep listening to these folks like they have our best interest at heart?
Mm-hmm.
Why? At what point did Ike ever have the best interest with Tina other than making that bread, getting up on that stage? Really?
Mm-hmm. Eat the cake, anime. Eat
And
the
that's
cake.
where we are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, eating the
Mm-hmm.
cake, and that's what they want. They want us to eat the cake, take a shot, drink the pill, drink Kool Aid. They want all that to be done, and we still acting well. Why? Because we black, and that's how they always done
Mm-hmm.
us. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
trying to be funny. I love all people, but listen, if you are not black, just like if you're not a woman, you can't possibly understand what we go through. So don't sit on the sideline talking about, oh, it's not that, because you have no idea
Mm-hmm.
until it happens to you.
Exactly. Exactly. Curtis, good morning. How you doing this morning?
What up, man? What's going on?
Hey, doing
How you
good.
feeling?
Doing good. You going through that car, man, because it's real hard to hear you, brother. But I want to hear your heart on what we're talking about right now. Black missing and exploited children. Black missing and exploited children, brother. Why don't we get the same attention as Becky?
It's really, I mean, right now.
Ain't
Kurt?
no money in it.
It's
Mm.
going to take one second.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's my answer, bro.
Okay.
Ain't
Okay.
no money in it.
Mm. Wow. Wow. That's good. Hey, that's good. Short and sweet. Absolutely. Donald, what's on your heart? Leonard, coming to you next.
Well, I agree with the sister. We need to stop asking why. We know why.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to be asking, what can we do? We got just as much power, if not more. Our money in our communities and our money, period, it can top whatever we need to do. We just need to get in the mindset that we have to have those platforms. We can create those platforms and do it ourselves. We're not that where we don't have any power. We have much power now. We can do a lot of things. We can put our children out there.
Mm-hmm.
We can put our children out there on our trucks. We can put our children out there on our social media. We can put our children out there. We can create national platforms to put our children out there. So instead of asking why, we should be asking what can we do to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that when our black children go missing, they get just as much media coverage as Becky, as you said, as
Mm-hmm.
Becky getting, because we have created the platform and we have the platforms to do it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Leonard, talk to me.
Like I said, I'm always on that page. What we gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
You can talk about it, you can fret about it, you can cry about it, and do it. What you gonna do? I'm 100% with what I believe Miss Debbie,
Donna. Mm-hmm.
Miss Donna just said. It's up to you to do it. What is you looking for them to do? When one,
Mm-hmm.
y'all just explained to you how you do it in your local neighborhood. And accounting for those children that are there. I've had my one son's 22, and I got another son. He's 13, and so
Mm-hmm.
the sets of children that your kids go to school with and graduate with. When there's a lot more younger children on your block than used to be. You watch these kids grow up or what have you. It's good to know who they are, where they live, whose family they belong to, and these types of things. You can do that in your own neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when a kid came up missing out here, first thing they did was come knocking on doors. Have you seen such and such? No, but we'll look for him. And we found him. Because the people was looking for him. So you don't wait until something happens. If you don't have it in your neighborhood, it's your responsibility, if you're listening right now, to start it
Mm-hmm.
in your neighborhood.
Absolutely.
You can look at all the data that you want. The data is there. It's not a
Mm.
question anymore. It's what are you doing in your neighborhood to prevent it from happening?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only question we need to be talking about. Is
Mm-hmm.
what are you doing to prevent it? You can create your own. You can partner with missing and exploited children. You can also go to our Black Girls online or what
Mm-hmm.
have you. And maybe they don't have a network on the ground where you live, or people that they can reach out and touch on the ground where you live. Partner with them and start it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what needs to be done. There's no more they. What you gonna do? What you
Mm-hmm.
gonna use your platform to do? Because there needs to be one, like we used to say with New Order. If you don't have an organization there and you want to be a part of New Order, we'll start one where you're at. Or if
Mm.
there's another organization that you fit in better with, go join that organization.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
police, even law enforcement, have a lot of volunteer opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
If you're interested in a neighborhood watch, setting up your own neighborhood watch. I mean, I don't know if any of you have ever lived in drug infested areas, but shout out to my man, rest in peace. The street groomers used to do this very thing.
Mm-hmm.
Big Haroon used to walk the streets of his neighborhood looking
Mm-hmm.
for things not going the way they supposed to,
And that brother had a
and
presence too.
and partnering with law enforcement to try to clean up his neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about what you're going to do. It's not about what white folks gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
It's about what you're gonna do. Trust me. When I see Kendrick Johnson's case now, it's hard to believe that that was the same case I sat and listened to in a room when it first happened. But
Mm-hmm.
look at the attention that it's getting now. And these are the issues we have. We know people that are doing, allowing things to happen in the administrations
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
the United States, the law enforcement administrations, the governor's office, the attorney general, and things of that nature. What are
Mm.
they doing? Do they have task force as it relate to missing children? Like in areas where you have a high rate of human and sex trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think they take girls? What business do you think a lot of these girls are forced into? Sex
Mm-hmm.
trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
So one, you should be all a part of. You should be asking those people that are running for office right now. Early voting is up in a lot of local municipalities right now for your local representatives and your mayors and things like that for early voting. Ask them where they are on these issues. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
always talking about drugs, drugs, drugs. We've been doing the drug thing. We need to step up our resources as it relates to finding missing children.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Rico,
Whether it be it could be as simple a system as, hey, you know what, I'm watching this corner today.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And do that.
It's so
And
something
do that.
and do that.
Mm-hmm.
You watch the block today.
Mm-hmm.
You start keeping notes on what you see going on your block. Get with a group of other concerned individuals. If we see a car parked on my block that we ain't used to seeing, I'm going up to you, bro. What's up, cuz?
Mm-hmm.
You doing some
Mm-hmm.
work over here at this house? Oh, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Going on about my business.
Exactly. Exactly. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Uh, this thing, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. To me, is all psychological, and I like what the sister said once again. What Toya said, we've been going through this too long to still be asking why. But some of the whys still aren't being asked properly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why don't we support platforms like this? So I thought about it. Well, along with that history, going back to the 1600s, like Toya said, Black people was also made and programmed to believe that white life was more important too.
Mm-hmm.
After 400 years of seeing your own children being fed to alligators, seeing your husband being raped in front of you, imagine that. I ain't say your wife, I said your husband
Mm-hmm.
being broken in front of you, his son watching, his daughter watching. After 400 years of that, we asking these questions still. Now, to me, the question that should be asked is, I asked it earlier. Why isn't our community supporting platforms like this? And I thought about it. If we actually, us black people, actually looked at our reality of what was going on and broke away from this brainwashing, we'd be traumatized. If the black community actually had to address everything that was going on in our community so we could get ahead properly, we would never have no time to be entertained. We wouldn't have time to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what the problem is. See, people want to live their best lives. You remember you used to hear it? They got a song.
Yeah.
Somebody wanted to living your best life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can't be living your best life if you're sitting up here worried about who missing, who being human trafficked. You can't live your best life being a community police. You can't go out here and have fun. You can't laugh and slap your hip, have a good old time. See, like I said, that illusion of the American dream we living up under came with a lot of comfort and leisure and access to things that just made you feel good. So now we want to feel good to the point where if we concentrate on what's really going on with us, we'd be feeling too bad. We'll probably have wrinkles. I'm gonna get old. I ain't got time to be stressing myself. I'm tired of hearing all this bad news. But then when you hear a football stadium worth of females missing that look like you don't think that's worth listening to? Or you'd rather hear about the football stadium full of people watching your football team? Well, what about enough? Imagine all these black women, this stadium full of black women, disappear. Like Houdini. Where they at? I ain't got time to listen to that. I remember when I was young, coming up and I'd be pointing out little racist issues. They gonna Rico with that black stuff again. Oh, so now it ain't important to you until it happened to you.
Exactly.
When I was the union representative, man, they gonna fire you. You need to shut up. Same people come back later on. Man, you know you right. We need to do something about this. Grown men that I looked up to that were pillars, I ain't gonna even call them pillars in the community. They were so-called local legends, these street credibility people. Everybody talk about cowards. Wouldn't stand for nothing. They didn't have time to stand for that. They didn't want to talk about that. They'd rather talk about shucking and jiving, having a good time. See, people want to be happy. That's what the problem is. People want to be happy, but they don't understand there'll be more happiness and having justice and just in having fun. Because see, once that fun is over, somebody still might take your child and then you can't get the response from the police. I was listening to Leonard say it about the man having contact with the law enforcement, and that's good. But this same law enforcement is the same law enforcement that has always existed to not work with us. So even though we do need to use that, but that system protects the people that buy little girls and take them to see Prince Andrew. That system takes money to let R. Kelly get off and stay out of prison for another 10 or 12 years knowing what he did. That same system will use their power to benefit the rich and the wealthy. What we want to be rich and wealthy. They'll use that money and that power and then go back and ignore your cause. Sabotage it while you involved with them, trying to get them to go ahead. Oh, you want some legislation? Well, yeah, we're going to try to get legislation, but really and truly, these lobbyists for Epstein and Victoria's Secret don't want this legislation. The lobbyists for John Gruden and Bruce Allen that was trading these naked pictures of these cheerleaders. They had them going down to Costa Rica, taking their clothes off and treating them like they were being human trafficked or escorts, and then told them they couldn't say nothing, took their cell phone from them. They've been protected by the same people that we supposed to be going to get help from. So within our community, once again, stop depending on them. We do our own policing, and we turn off the have and have nots. Turn off Young and the Restless. Quit worrying about Nick and Victor. Let Tyler Perry do his mess and let that mess become such a small part of our community, because we have more important issues that we need to discuss. But deep down inside, people don't want to discuss them issues because it'll take up too much of their time. And they ain't got time to be mad and stressed out and worried all the time. Sometimes people want to have, matter of fact, the majority of the time, people want to have fun. They addicted to fun like crack.
Exactly. Wow, you put a lot out there, brother. You put a lot out there, brother. Pete, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Said, brother, we stay on the entertainment mode too much. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
When we look at our society, family, we really want to articulate the fact that this is a land with a stealing culture. It's in the fiber of the nation. So we shouldn't be shocked at all at the mayhem and the chaos that we're seeing. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, this is stealing, snatching, seizing, kidnapping
Mm-hmm.
people,
Mm-hmm.
living beings. I mean, it's one thing to take a dollar you see on the ground. It's another thing to snatch a wallet or a purse. A whole nother level, breaking somebody's house, steal their car. You're stealing people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're taking whole flesh and blood beings.
Yes, sir.
And doing what? Only God in heaven knows what you're doing with them.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing every unimaginable, not desired to be imagined thing with these people that you've taken. Parting them out like junk cars at the junkyard.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And making money off of it.
And making money. Yes, sir.
So we have to be a lot more concerned about our own welfare
Mm-hmm.
and then each other's welfare. John Henry Clark told us a long time ago, you have no friends nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
None.
We have no allies nowhere. We truly are all that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're not going to take care of ourselves and take care of each other as ourselves, then we are going to continue to see and receive what we're getting,
Yep.
and it's only going to get worse.
Absolutely.
There's an old reggae group, Burning Spear, is getting from bad to worse. Come on, man.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is where we are. I'll just stop for a second. I'm gonna get out the way. You're stealing people.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking people.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, we've heard about slavery. We know
Mm-hmm.
you're stealing people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what kind of society have we gotten to where we can just snatch a person
Mm-hmm. A whole human life.
like it's nothing?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just snatch a person,
Mm-hmm.
not a purse, a person, huh?
Mm-hmm.
We got to do better. We have to walk the block like our room.
Mm-hmm.
All of us. You have to get concerned. You in your spare time, the men in our community have to adjust. You want to go out and hang out with your boys? Go hang out in your neighborhood and regulate and institute law, order, and hold to a standard in your local community. That's hanging out now.
Mm-hmm.
Later for the foolishness. We're taking carnage. They're giving us a report that for the first time, y'all, we may reach 10,000 murders in a year, self-inflicted, us on us.
10,000.
68,000 plus missing.
Yep.
Huh?
Yes, sir. Look at the numbers now. Look at the numbers.
Hey, let me throw this in there real quick too, cause I think sometimes people think it's hard, and it's not that hard. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is when you are out hanging out with your homeboys, keep your eye open for something that's out of place or something that's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Something that could be potentially wrong. It's like when they say keep your head on the swivel. When you're a gang member, you got your head on the swivel for the ops.
Mm-hmm.
You know, keep your head on the swivel for predators.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep your head on the swivel for these sick-minded people that you know exist, and they ain't gonna wear a hat saying, "Yeah, that's me. I'm the predator." They ain't gonna say that. You're gonna see it in their actions. They gonna move a certain way. Keep your eye open for anything looking suspicious. It ain't that hard.
Mm-hmm.
And keep in mind, y'all, most of the women or the people are normally disoriented, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you might be seeing them walk down the street and they look like they're drunk or they look like something. But one of the key indicators is that they'll do anything to try to keep you from saying something to them. You understand what I'm saying? Like, hey, you need help. They go in the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They try to do whatever they can to keep you from being able to hear that person. But the key indicator, look for somebody who's looking disoriented, like they are drunk or something like that. Because 9 times out of 10, if it's at in a setting where they got the person to sit down and eat or drink something.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Toussaint, talk to me, brother.
Bad part is they always stole people.
Mm-hmm.
They always did it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
those people that call us them people.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm. Wow. Good deal. Donald, what's on your heart? And Leonard, coming to you next, brother.
Well, I just want to say I thank y'all so much for this opportunity. I'm gonna have to get off, but I do appreciate this platform. I really do. As a
Praise
mother of
God.
a missing child, anytime anybody get on any platform talking about the missing and what we can do to make that situation better,
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate it because we can't do enough. We can't do enough. But
Mm-hmm.
if you all continue to do what y'all do, I don't. I hope you don't mind me saying this. I'm having a gala coming up November the 6th.
Mm-hmm.
That's my son's 43rd year being missing. He got missing when he was 5 days old. He'll
Wow.
be 43. November the 6th will
Mm-hmm.
be 43 years he's been missing. I've been out here looking for my son and helping others look for theirs. I
Mm-hmm.
would love for you all to support that.
Mm.
I would love for
Absolutely.
you all to come out.
Absolutely.
I would love for you all that you can purchase the tickets.
Mm-hmm.
You can purchase the tickets on Eventbrite up under Raymond Green International.
Mm-hmm.
Raymond Green International Outreach. You can go on Eventbrite. Tickets are only $50. This is a
Mm-hmm.
black tie affair. I would love for you all to come out. But here's the thing. If we don't support each other in our community, if we don't support each other, who's going to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when I'm out there doing spotlights and stuff like that, I've told thousands of people about it. I may have 10 people that come in and support the fact that we're looking for this child, or we bringing awareness back to this child. We need people to come out and support. We need
Mm-hmm.
people to stand up and be on the platform. We need to not on my watch. Man, when y'all out there in the community, I appreciate everything that y'all said. It
Mm-hmm.
does my heart good. We need y'all, our men. We need everybody out there in these communities. Not on my watch. When we out there, let's just be aware and alert of
Exactly.
what's going on, so that
Mm-hmm.
pedophile over there that's looking at that little boy or that little girl won't touch him
Mm-hmm.
because you out there and you watch it. We need y'all to watch for us. I thank y'all so much. My
Hey,
number is
thank you.
423
Mm-hmm.
755 1050. Again, that's 423-755-1050. And I really appreciate being on that platform. Thank y'all so much for
Hey,
what y'all do.
sister, thank you. Thank you. And give your number one more time just for the person that didn't have a pen.
423-755-1050. Again, that's 423-755-1050. And you have the permission to give out my number if anybody calls you and asks
Okay.
what my number was.
Good
I'm
deal.
giving you permission to give it
Appreciate
to
it.
them. If y'all don't mind, please come out and support.
Now keep us
Please come out
posted.
and support
Keep
Kayla.
keep
I
us
appreciate
posted.
y'all. Thank y'all
And
so
put
much.
Miss Donna, put it on my page to put it on my DKM on 1.1. Put it on my page so people can actually go there and have the information as well. So make sure you post it
I
on.
will do it.
Yeah, make sure you post it on my
I'm looking
page.
for it now to get my ticket, y'all.
Okay, good deal. Good deal.
Praise God. Thank you. Yeah, just go up on the Raymond Green International Outreach on the Vanguard. You'll find it. And I will put it on your page. And God bless y'all. And
Bless you
thank
as
y'all
well.
so much for what y'all doing in the community and these platforms.
Absolutely. And bless you as well, sister. If you need us, we're right here. Just let us know.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, I think anything that helps bring a child back or finds a missing child, man, it's worthwhile.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
know, everybody think, it's gonna all happen in one day, and it's not. It
Mm-hmm.
don't happen overnight,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to get involved. If it's so much as sharing whenever a missing child post come up, share it on every platform you have. Push
Mm-hmm.
it for people to share as well. Like I
Mm-hmm.
say, partner with law enforcement. Start a neighborhood watch in your area if you need
Mm-hmm.
one or if you don't have one. Do whatever it is that you need to do in your area
Yes.
to make it happen. You don't need to worry about mine because you're not here.
Mm-hmm.
Worry about yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't need to go looking for stories of people halfway across the world that you know nothing about. There's probably missing people right in your neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
or stories right in your neighborhood, or children right in your neighborhood missing that you could be focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
So if
Exactly.
you're not a part of an organization, like I say, you can go to www.ourblackgirls.com.
Mm.
Usually keeps up and reports. as well as the Black and Mission Foundation Incorporated, which is a 501c3 hashtag help us find us. So there's lots of different platforms, lots of different people that are involved with these missing children efforts, and it's really up to you. You can't be looking around for other people to care more about you than you care about yourself.
Exactly. That's
So
good.
so start looking. If you're a member of a church, let your church know about it. Take time out for that to be in the announcements. If you got a mission child or something in your neighborhood, it should make it to your church announcements. If you got church announcements, you know, that come up on a board or what have you. Get the word out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. The phone number is 508-924-3521. Give us a call if you have something that you want to talk about in regards to this topic that we're talking about, Black and exploited children or people, Black and exploited people. Why don't we get the same attention as Becky gets? Now, like I say, this certainly is not a racial thing, but it's just a reality. This is reality, and we're dealing with a real situation. Rico, what's on your heart? And we got a phone number, a phone call. We're gonna go to that call in just 1 second.
I'm gonna differ with Leonard. What Leonard said a little bit on that. Not being too concerned about what's not going on in your city, because I feel like wherever Miss Green is, somebody in Michigan or California could hear that story and say, you know what? Let me be careful. That could happen to me. So they might not be able to do nothing for her case, but they still may be able to say, you know what, man, this atmosphere exists. I have never heard of this. See, where I'm from, we didn't have a epidemic with heroin up until maybe 7 or 8 years ago. But New York been dealing with it for years. So I was always aware of what to look for in a person, because I knew what was going on in New York and Atlanta, all these big cities. So it's always good to be aware of what could possibly end up trickling down to your community, whether it's in politics or whether it's in everyday society. Mrs. Green's story could actually impact or wake somebody up in another country. So it's always good to be aware of what happens with human beings. You might not be able to affect it, but you know what I do? Every time I hear a story that I never heard of, one of these people come on here and tell me something I never heard of, I go look it up. I'm pretty sure I done brought up plenty of stories that happened here in my hometown and other places. Ain't that a shame? But I wonder how many people went and looked it up. Probably nobody, because if they did, they come in and be like, well, wait a minute, you mean to tell me that this man got killed in 2016 and them boys still ain't been to trial yet? Wow, that can happen in Alabama. Yeah, you might not be able to do nothing. Gerald wanted to do something. Gerald wanted to come down here. Gerald like sticking his neck out. He'll get on that airplane. You know what I'm saying? And hit that highway. You know what I'm saying? And actually, Gerald knows about that story. And Gerald wanted to reach out to the family. Out of the thousands of people I've told that story to, Gerald Rose is the only person that ever said, man, you know what? I want to reach out to that family. Everybody else was, on to the next. So are you really sincerely concerned? Because, I mean, not true enough, you might not be able to do nothing about it, but at least going and looking up the information and researching it and getting it in your head. Because ever since I heard Miss Green's story, I was glad she called me, because I think about it all the time. I think about a 43-year-old black male out here. He might be successful. This man might be rich. He might be living in another country under the rules of under the illusion of the fact that he's living with his parents. He might not want to come back if he find out that he was kidnapped. He may be abused. He might not even be in existence anymore. Who knows? And she living with this. If he is alive, just think about how messed up it is that he don't even really know who he really is.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, you know, her story, man, her story needs to be heard by anybody that can hear it, because this could be you. You might be that missing child in another country, another state somewhere, and you get wind of, well, you know what, let me reach out, man, because this might be my mama. So, you know, I think, you know, that was the only thing I was going to disagree on. But we have a situation going on down here. A young black woman think she's 28, 29 years old, reported missing back in, I want to say September, maybe been, yeah, September reported missing. Police blew it off. And she had a lot of contact with the police. She had a good relationship with them. Blew it off. Well, guess where they found her at? And if y'all ain't heard this story, this goes to show you why it's up to us to hear this news and then look it up and not the mainstream media. Guess where they found her?
What's that?
They found her on the property of the police department in the back of a police van, dead. Y'all ain't heard that story?
No, sir.
Black woman.
29, light skin. I think I just saw it.
Wow.
So you know, that's our business. That's our business. Now, the reason why it should be heard for people, I mean, this was in Huntsville, Alabama. Imagine somebody in Huntsville, Texas might need to hear it. Somebody in Iowa might need to hear it. They might have similar situations that just didn't get out in the news. Ahmaud Arbery's news didn't get out for 2 months. Huh? You mean to tell me that man got killed like that and they didn't get out for 2 months? That wasn't even the media. That was all government.
And see,
but
that's
the people in the community didn't take the opportunity to let us know about Ahmaud Arbery. It was some nice person leaked that video.
And see, that's the whole thing right there, man. That's the reason why we do Black conversations on Fridays, because we want people all over the globe, man. We want y'all to call in and share what's going on in your community. That's why when we first started this, and I say, what's going on in your community? If you want a platform where you can actually talk about it and let it be known, only thing I tell you, don't use no name because it's all alleged, you know. But like I said, give us the facts about what's going on, though. Let's talk about it.
And then look it up. Look it up. When you hear this stuff, look it up. Let it get on your mind. You might be worried about somebody that you never met in your life, but you will also be aware of what to look for to prevent that from happening to somebody around you.
I want this thing to be to a way, and I'm speaking to everybody. I want Black communications to, and when we say Black communication, you know, that's just a title. If you're Black, white, orange, polka dot, or whatever, you know, call us and let us know what's going on in and around your community, because I want this thing to be so that we can't even take all the calls. That we can't even, you know, the phone rate is blowing up so much. So many people are calling in with so much stuff that's going on. I want it to be to a point where on Fridays, man, we can't get everybody in. We just can't get everybody in. But that's gonna make everybody aware. This is what's going on. It's just like Rico just said. Maybe there's something going on in your community. The situation that he told me about, I never heard of that before. I never heard of that. I didn't know anything about it. And you know, if some of y'all did, man, y'all better than me, because I didn't know. But now it's out there. And so maybe that's
do it like an America's Most Wanted style.
Exactly. And maybe there's something that's going on in your community similar or the same as that. Curtis, good to have you back, brother. What's on your heart?
I have a question.
What's your question?
My question was, now, we said get the facts. Now, Rico just stated that the young lady was found in the police precinct. In the event that no one knew that information, then the fact would be whatever the police would write. So how can we really follow the facts if we're not on it? Because there are governmental positions and operatives that are within our government that do this as well, and they do not put out the correct facts. So we have to think about that when we look into some of these cases, because like we just said, if Ahmaud Arbery tape hadn't been leaked, then the fact would have been whatever they would have written, and then maybe we really wouldn't have known the truth, because the police would have told the mother the so-called facts of the story. So we need our own team to investigate these things and make sure that they are indeed true and happening the way they said it happened, because we know the history of the police.
Exactly.
And a lot of times, even with domestic violence accusations.
A lot of times, what you got to do, man, you got to listen to what they're not saying. You got to listen to what they're not saying. And Leonard, you know, with him being who he is and doing what he do for so long, I'm sure he understands what I'm saying. Listen to what they're not saying. Leonard, what do you say to that?
It just depends on what it is you're trying to do. Like I say, I listen to stories. I go find facts of stories and report and do research to help people that are on the ground trying to do something about situations. That's usually what I get involved in. But I can honestly tell you, it ain't like the list gets shorter.
Yeah.
There's more than enough to do.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to do something, you may just want to get involved with it if that's your thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if that's what you feel passionate about.
Exactly.
You're the one that should be leading the effort to make that happen in your area.
Mm-hmm.
If you got something to offer, do that.
Mm-hmm. That's
You
good.
know, like with for instance, with New Order, we all do very different things.
Mm-hmm.
Very different things. But whatever a person chooses to do, it's what they want to do. It's what they passionate about. So we know that one, they're going to be the ones dedicating themselves to that particular issue.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always good to get facts and to partner with people because you cannot do it by yourself.
Exactly.
You know, I would
Exactly.
be a fool to think that I could sit in front of all the cases I've sat in front of and do them myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's unrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is I get in where I fit in
Mm-hmm.
and what I can do for people.
That's good. That's good. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother?
So, each of you got me thinking of the time 2000. Yeah, early part of 2000 when I started driving trucks um, in the civilian world. And I'll never forget it, man. I used to pull a load out of Hawthorne, California. And I would take the load from Hawthorne, California to Churn Hills, PA, and stop in Chicago. And I'll never forget one time I was sitting in the truck at the truck stop, and I'm watching all these girls, these working girls, whatever. And it's like, man, hold on, I sometimes with my mind, I wonder, I'm like, man, if any one of these cats is a rapist or a serial killer, this is the one profession where you probably could you could amass so many bodies. It's unreal because you never in one state, longer than 24 hours pretty much. And then I remember I got back to California and I had to go to the Walmart. And I walked in the Walmart, man, and then reality hit. In the Walmart, California, they have, I don't know about in Alabama or Georgia. I haven't seen it in Georgia, but maybe they're doing it now. But in California, the walls in California are a missing persons wall, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Raheem, we all know how big a super Walmart is, right?
Uh-huh.
And when you realistically think about how a super Walmart is built, it's basically either a rectangle or a square. And everything about the store is right there, within that square or within that rectangle. Well, how about, bro, the pictures ran around the entire store.
Good Lord.
Every wall was full, bro,
Mm-hmm.
of pictures. And when I first walked in, I was like, when I first walked in and saw it, I was like, oh, employees of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't really read what it was. I didn't read it. I didn't catch it until I done walked around the store and I'm seeing all these pictures, seeing all these pictures, seeing all these pictures. And then when I went to when I went to check out, I looked up at the wall, which is in the very front of the store, and then I saw these are our missing persons.
Mm.
And man, I took that in and I said, what the wow. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, the size of a super Walmart. I no small super Walmart.
Exactly.
Every wall, bro, from the front all the way to the side, from the side all the way to the back, from the back, it was pictures behind the TVs and all, the TV set in the back, the electronics back there. It was pictures on the wall behind the TVs, bro. And I'm like, wow, man, this is crazy right here. But y'all just made me think about that, man. Like, you know, in terms of our community, man, it's a shame. It's a shame that, you know, folk just. Sometimes I wonder, man, just how much value is the black life really? In the eyes of human beings, how much value is the African American black life? What is it really worth? Sometimes I wonder that, man.
I'm gonna tell you something. That's a heck of a question, brother. That's a heck of a question. And is really honestly speaking, it's a question that a lot of people in and out of our community don't want to answer. It's a question that a lot of people just don't want to answer or address it. We got another caller from the. Let me see what this call is. Go ahead, Kurt. You got something else on your heart, brother?
Yeah, you know, I asked that question, but then I have some, like, I don't have no answers, but I have thoughts on it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, is the fact that question not thrown out there because if you answer that question truly and honestly, is it that the black life is worth more than any life? The African American black life is worth more in this country than any life in this country? Or is it that, you know, the African American life in America ain't worth pennies? Like, is the truth something that we as a public or as a society really want to look at? Will it push us to a point to say we not, you know what I mean, the things that we might accept now, we're not going to accept anymore?
Exactly.
Or, you know what I mean? Like, I ask myself that, man.
I wonder, if you take that same question, mute your phone from Kurt. I got some background. I know it's coming from you. But I wonder, we got a call. I'm gonna go to Pete, then I'm gonna go to the caller. How much value would people put on a piece of coal? How much value would people put on a piece of coal? And you know, coal becomes something else. But anyway, that's just side thought. Pete, what's on your heart?
You got to think about it. How much value did they put on a worthless diamond? They only value it because of its aesthetics.
Exactly. And so that's American way. That's the American way. And it's sad that we have to say that. But Pete, what's on your heart, brother?
Well, let's give clarity to the question. If you have a medical condition, a blood type, something going on with you that can benefit the pharmaceutical science and study and creation of medicine, then like our dear sister whose name I can't call, whose cells are still alive, benefiting cancer first, and now they tested in everything that they test in the pharmaceutical arena, I would think she's worth several $1 trillion. And her family members received nothing, and they presently are filing a lawsuit about that. We had a family member, young lady, her daughter here in Atlanta was taken, and she was told her daughter was worth $500 million. Now, Bobo, little Rico, and all them walking down the street, they only worth whatever they can make off of them, putting them in the criminal injustice system.
He talked about Henrietta Black.
Yes. Say it again. Say it loud.
Her name was Henrietta Black. She's from Maryland. She's from Baltimore. Johns Hopkins is the hospital that perpetuated that fraud and that theft.
There you go. Now, and that was a couple of decades ago. Am I correct?
That was back in the early, I think, 40s and 50s. I actually was supposed to do a documentary on it, but they couldn't get their budget together. But that family, he's right. That family has been fighting in the Maryland court system probably for the last 2 decades. And they still have not been paid. That lady's cells is called the Hala cell. The HeLa cells is responsible for the medicines that we now take, all of these advancements in AIDS, cancer. It's responsible for the cure for polio. It's responsible for certain vaccines for malaria. That one cell from that lady, from Henrietta Lacks, is responsible for so many lives being sustained. It is unreal.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow.
So when you ask what is a black life worth, on Main Street, it's worth nothing more than what they can be utilized for in commerce.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, you're worth everything when you can be manipulated and taken advantage of or utilized to the benefit of others to increase their wealth and amass great amounts of money and power.
Mm-hmm.
So the real question is, what is a black life or our lives worth to us and each
Mm-hmm.
other?
Exactly.
And how do we add the value to our lives or substantiate the value to of our lives to everybody else?
Mm-hmm.
And we're not doing that. Family, we under siege. We've been under siege.
Mm-hmm.
We're a dominated group of people being occupied like in a war.
Mm-hmm.
And we just not clear. We're so caught up in our everyday livings and trying to avoid the harsh reality of our true reality until we get distracted. But the real situation is we are people that have been in a bad, horrible, unspeakable situation on planet Earth for a long time.
Exactly. Exactly. Let me go to my caller from the 816 area code. 816 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from? That must be K with the eagle. She can't find that mute button.
Yes, I can. I had to find my mute button. Hi, good morning, everybody. I miss everybody. This is Goddess.
Goddess. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
All right.
Good deal. Good. Go ahead. I know you've been listening. What's on your heart? I know you've been listening.
I've been listening.
Mm-hmm. What's on your heart?
Boy, I wish Wanda Graves is right here because this is something that we talked about so many times, and she just took off and ran with everything, and that's what she does for basically a living. That was her passion, and I believe that Leonard was speaking about that.
Yes.
We all work in different capacities with New Order, and right now, a lot of people don't understand, but if you look up what melanin is to gold, it tops it like 400%. And what people are not understanding, when you put a price on a black person, we have melanin in our skin, and melanin is something that I didn't even know it could be extracted. So when you look at all these people coming up missing with that, and then six slaves, we top on the list. And we just had a young guy that was taken. His name is not like right there at my tongue right now, but he was taken, thrown in the river. They finally found him. He had been missing. He was in college. He was doing good. When they pulled him out, all his organs had been taken, all the way up to his eyeballs. I mean,
they found out that was untrue. His mother came up and said that wasn't true. That was the internet took off with that, so she came back and rebutted that. She said he was messed up, but he wasn't messed up as bad as everybody said he was.
Okay. Well, there's been several of them that has been done like that. One was in Las Vegas in the desert, missing all his organs too, though. So this is something that is common. This is a common situation that has been going on. But if you look at, I think Tawanda was working on one with a little girl. I believe, Pete, you were talking about the little girl that was taken to the hospital. The hospital kept her. I believe that case right there is the one Tawanda was working on. and that little girl had special cells as well.
Yes.
And they kept that little girl.
Get and took the mother through a whole lot of situations trying to get her child back. Yeah. Tawanda, she actually had that on the broadcast as well one day. Yeah, that's a deep story. Go ahead, sis.
So that's why we as parents and we as need to make sure that our men are out here taking care of our kids, because look at all the kids that are in foster care. Our Black kids are in foster care and they're missing from foster care. A lot of people fail to realize that and what they're being used for. Antebellum is a real life situation. And these kids come up missing, they come up, and it's wow before they get reported, or if they get reported.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. I think everybody needs to take a moment and just pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to the area that you live in. Pay attention to the kids that you see that you don't see, that you see today, and then the next day you ain't seen them for a week or 2 or 3 or 4. You know what I'm saying? They're not outside. They're not doing what kids do. You might want to question some things.
Exactly.
So that's just what my take is on it.
Good deal. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Brother Pete, come to you next.
Yeah, Toya made another point earlier that might get by a lot of people. You can dismember and get rid of a whole body in 24 hours. In 24 hours, somebody can make it seem like you never existed ever. Right, take away every piece of it, thing that shows you existed besides your birth certificate or people that knew you. They go take you away from here, dismember you and dump you in acid. So many different things they could do to a body within 24 hours. But you got to wait 24 hours just to make sure your child is missing and wasn't a runaway. Ain't that something? And people will dismiss certain things as conspiracy. You know what I'm saying? God has been saying this about melanin for a good while. And melanin has been a big issue in our community in the background. I'm going to say, you know what I'm saying? Not on the mainstream, but in the background, we've been speaking about melanin. And people were like, well, man, that sounds like conspiracy. Well, I seen a shampoo the other day that can make all your gray turn back black naturally. And it's based mainly from melanin. Where they get this melanin from? Now, if you've been paying attention to that stuff, you know what I'm saying, and didn't look at it as conspiracy, they told you a long time ago that they had been trying to synthetically make it.
Yeah.
But somehow it wasn't working. But now I guess it works. Maybe they got somebody that had a Henrietta Lacks type of bioengineering or something, you know what I'm saying? Bioengineering something from somebody's cells that was living, a special kind of melanin to perfect their little chemistry experiment. And they came up with something. So now they got shampoo with melanin in it. Just think about it. That ain't the only thing. There's been a lot of products here lately that says that they have melanin in it. So are they producing it artificially, or are they taking it from people? So that is something to think about. But you know, when you say what is the Black life worth, what is it valued, really and truly, I'm gonna go back to the psychology thing. Some religious people gonna get mad, or they might not, you know what I'm saying? But this is a wake up. They put that white face on that white Jesus and made him the most heroic man in the history of existence. They made him the most peaceful and loving and fair. They made, just think about that color. And then you start, looking at how things went in America, and you start looking at lifestyles. You start looking at dominant culture, dominant society. And when you're on the bottom, you want to start being like the people on the top. And subconsciously, you're going to start thinking that the people on top, they better, they living better, they doing better, they got better access. They just better. And then all of a sudden, your grandparents passing that down, and you passing it down to your children. They passing it down, and for 300 or 400 years, Massa better. Massa got better everything. Massa got better education. So of course, sooner or later, you're gonna start putting them as more important than you. You're gonna put them as more important than your neighbor, because they got the power. They make the decisions. They got the access. They're the ones that make things move and shake. And so you're gonna worry about the people that actually you depend on or control how you move. You might hate them or you might love them, but somewhere deep down inside, you're going to want the things and the access that they want. And subconsciously, that's when you start putting more value on them than yourself. That's if you're brainwashed. If you ain't brainwashed and you ain't caught up in that, you're going to look at it and realize, man, you know what? These people don't use gunpowder and weapons and tricked us into thinking that they better than us and superior naturally, when really and truly they just low down tricksters and savages.
Exactly. 508-924-3521. We got a few more minutes before we get out of here. Give us a call. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. We're live right now. So if you want to talk about this topic we're talking about, you're more than welcome. Got a few more minutes before we get out of here. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? Toya with a T coming to you next, sis.
You know, a lot of times I just listen.
I'm
just listening.
Okay. Okay.
You know,
I thought something else was coming out there, brother. You kind of throw a curve.
The medication is working.
It's working
to keep me from snapping.
Yes, sir.
But
yes, sir.
You know, to each his own. Just remember that one, you need to participate in these local elections that are going on. A lot of early voting has opened up, I know, in certain areas. You need to take a part of that as well. And you know, that one question you had asked really pissed me off.
Which one is that?
The Black worth. Who are you asking? Who are you asking?
Well, I just me personally, I just put it out there and find out what people thought about it. You know, I'm asking our community as well as people outside of the community. How do they look at it? How does they value? And better yet, I think a more powerful question is, how do we value ourselves?
Right, self-value. Right.
Because one, that I believe was the more important question.
Yeah.
Because I'm not looking for what other people value or whatever, and I'm pretty sure everybody's value would be different if that's the type of world that they lived in. But if you're really of worth some value, you can call me about life insurance.
Go ahead, get them.
I mean, why talk about it?
Yeah.
If you got so much value, you should value yourself enough to want to contribute $25 to $40 a month to the value of your life for your loved ones, if you cared that much. You know, the rhetorical conversations and things. I'm not into no romance about being black. I'm just not. What are we going to do? We are black. Now, what are you going to do? You've been black. What are you going to do?
Last
you
time
going to be black. You going to still be black. What are you going to do?
Then, you know what? Ever since I was a little boy old enough to understand what a mirror was, I looked in the mirror, I was black. And I still look in the mirror today. If I leave from the studio, go straight to a mirror, I promise you I'll still be black. They ain't never changed.
Man, I'm just telling you, it's different for me. Because one, I was not raised with these issues. I've never thought less of myself or people for being black or anything. I mean, I don't even. The Bible ain't that great to make me believe anything like that. For one, and definitely I ain't never listened to what no white person had to say about nothing or believed anything that they ever said about anything. So when I hear people who automatically are devaluing themselves based on what white folks be talking about, I can only listen because I don't have that. I don't even want it. Y'all can keep that part about being black.
Exactly.
Because I never thought less of myself, or you know, the people around me weren't like that. Because we weren't taught that, and there's no amount of white man nor devil could make us believe anything like that.
Toya with a T, what's on your heart, sis? Talk to me.
Oh, we ain't got enough time for what I got to say. Because it ain't no price.
Yeah.
Ain't never no price on me. And I am black. I am what they call black. First of all, let me tell you what I am first. First, I'm a child of God. That's what Trump is saying. But out here, because the way things is, the way they is, I'm what they call black. And I'm cool with that. But ain't no amount of money. I'm worth $999, $999, $999, and some more nines worth of money. If we want to get on a monetary value, ain't no price on my life when I'm black. And no, I ain't white. And no, ain't no insurance gonna determine me being worth only $300,000. The government ideologies and conspiracy theories of the queen worth $550 because you're a double jointed. No, I'm still more than that. My worth, it does not lie in the mouth of a human. Are you kidding me? And that's something that my daddy taught me. Let me just know that. My daddy learned it from his daddy, God. Even though he wasn't perfect, my daddy was an alcoholic, but he taught me all that on who I am. And it don't make no difference what nobody say or what nobody thinks that determines my value. It's up to me. And there is a premise that some folk think because I'm black, and some folk think because I'm a woman that I'm weaker, and it makes them intimidated. And now they want to do mad, evil, wicked things to me because I win, because I'm more of a human than they are.
Wow, good deal, good deal.
So if my value go down, it's in the mind of another human being, not the truth.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. Look,
Hey, you know what, right?
what's that? Speak up for me, Kurt.
You know, yeah. You know, I'm with the mindset that when we speak of value,
Can y'all hear Kurt? Can y'all hear him? Kurt, can't hear you, brother. Your volume is too low. We can't hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Is this better?
Can y'all hear him?
Is this better?
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. It's very low, brother. It's very low.
All right, so oh God, I just did a senseless clone. Can you hear me now?
They say they can't hear you though, Kurt.
I'm the one that.
Leonard, can you hear him?
I'm the one that.
Leonard, can you hear Kurt?
I hear.
Okay.
Go ahead, Kurt.
Okay.
Well, I'm the one that kind of threw the question of value out there, right? I must say that when I think in terms of value, or I put that out there, I wasn't just thinking about money. Like, value to me is so much more than just dollars and cents. You know, our grandmamas who at one point could not work because of obvious reasons, health reasons, whatever. If we just go dollars and cents, easily say and or lean towards she has no value. But the value that she had, it was not there was no monetary gain. It was merely a spiritual gain. So when I throw out the term value, I'm thinking in terms of the spirituality of it, the understanding that people can move a culture by sharing experiences, by having discussion, by talking about things like. I heard Leonard when Leonard was like, "Hey, what y'all gonna do about it?
Yeah.
Y'all know it's a problem. What you gonna do about it?" Well, the person that sat there and do nothing has no value to our situation. You know what I mean? But the person who is willing to, like Reek said earlier when he was talking about his God, that's willing to put his neck out there and throw his neck under the guillotine, he has more value in that situation than anybody involved because he's the one that's willing to go to bat. So I just wanted to just throw that out there because I think that's a part of the ploy. Every time we speak on value, but when they speak on value, they speaking on value monetarily. They speaking on value from a perspective of culturally, socially. Why? And I'll just end with this because I know we done. Why do you think back here when the civil rights was signed and when black folks started like really standing up saying, "Man, no, we're not doing that no more." There was a push to put as many of their kids in law school, in cop uniforms, CO uniforms, in these positions to where the ideology, we can act like it don't exist, but guess what? We can't burn a cross in your yard no more. But guess what? We can hang you on this cross in front of everybody in this courtroom.
Wow.
Now we control you see what I'm saying? And I remember I watched the video where the white man who was former Klan, older white guy, he was former Klan, and he came out and told it. Look, here's what the plan was. Since we could not move like we used to move, there was a plan and a push. Keep teaching your kids the ideology of white supremacy, white nationalism, but tell them keep their nose clean. Tell them they got to go to college. Tell them we need them to take the jobs down at the police departments and the prosecutor's office and things like that. So, you know, I just wanted to throw that out there, man.
That's good. That's good.
No harm.
No. That was good, brother. That was a perfect way to end. I think Rico has something you want to say to that before we get out of here. Give me your quick version, brother.
Yeah, I agree with Curtis, man. I was glad he went there because I was gonna jump in with that myself. You know, it's funny. I brought that up earlier, how distracted we are about what's important to us, and some people went to the monetary value right off top. But me, I look at the human value. See, one thing about it is you heard Martin Luther King and others tell us that we are somebody.
Yes.
That's letting you know that you got some self-value. You are important. And I've always been the one that would tell anybody. I've never been afraid to knock on somebody's door, confront somebody. I don't care what title they have. I don't care what position they have. I don't care how much money they have. You put your pants on one leg at a time, just like me. Your pants just don't stand up and you jump in them jokers 2 legs at one time.
Yeah.
You ain't special. You put them on one leg at a time. You're going to bleed like me. You're going to die like me. So all this other stuff that man done made you feel like you better than somebody else or made you feel like you less than somebody else, throw that away. Because in the end, they came into this world just like you. They're going to leave just like you. And all that in between, that's up to you.
I'll go to go with some DMX where you say, well, no, got you thinking that you're Superman. Well, you know, that's but Rico, tell us what's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir.
If you missed today's show and would like to see it in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Good deal. Good deal. Captain Leonard, your prayers out today, sir.
Oh yeah. Before you go, if anybody's still listening, the woman's name with the child that they kept referring to is Jasmine Mack. So if y'all want to look up Jasmine Mack, you can find out that story about what happened with her child being kidnapped.
Exactly. Sticks to get said, God bless guys, and please pray for Kyrie Irving. He's being tested. Although he's being tested for his beliefs right now. He's being tested for his beliefs right now. Okay. Captain Leonard, are you there? Captain Leonard.
Thanks, Rico.
That medicine might have got Leonard. He told you he took that medicine.
Yeah. He actually say he's preoccupied right now. So let me go to Toya with a T. Pray us out, Toya. I think Toya's still with us. Toya, you still with us, right?
Okay, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, okay.
All right, Father, we want to thank you for another glorious day. Thank you for another great opportunity to be on the airwaves and be able to talk about situations, hopefully, Lord, that is breaking your mold. Hopefully, just getting us where we need to be as humans, Lord, just across the board, man. For those of us that believe and don't believe, it's just helping us all come to some sort of platform of peace. So we thank you for the opportunity. We thank you for each other. We thank you for your protection you've given us this far. We thank you for the protection you're going to have over us for all the days to come. And give us the strength to be able to continue to do what your will. And we come to you in honor, mercy, and praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Go ahead, preacher. You all right with me? Listen, it's
whatever.
It's been a great podcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your day. It's now 10:08. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. That we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Have a great day. Take care of each other, and please stay blessed.